The letter arrived on a Wednesday afternoon in June 1954. Mamie Johnson was sorting through the mail when she saw the envelope. No return address, just her name and address written in crude block letters. She opened it. Inside was a single piece of paper with a message cut from newspaper letters, ransom note style. "We're coming for your boy, Friday, midnight, the old Hamilton Oak. He'll swing like the others did. Tell Bumpy this is what happens when uppity coloreds forget their place." Underneath, drawn in red ink, was a crude picture of a noose. Mamie's hands started shaking. She read it again, hoping she'd misunderstood. But there was no misunderstanding. They were threatening Ellsworth Raymond Johnson, Jr., Sonny, as everyone called him, her 18-year-old son, Bumpy's only boy. The Hamilton Oak. Everyone in Harlem knew what that meant. A massive tree on the edge of Van Cortlandt Park, just outside the Bronx. In 1939, 15 years earlier, the KKK had lynched a young black man there named Thomas Hamilton. The case had never been solved. The tree still stood, a dark monument to that night. And now they were threatening to do it again. To her son. Mamie picked up the phone with trembling fingers and dialed the number for Small's Paradise. "I need to speak to my husband, now." Bumpy was in his office reviewing the week's numbers when the call came through. "Bumpy, it's Mamie. You need to come home, right now." The tone in her voice told him everything he needed to know. Something was wrong, seriously wrong. "I'm on my way." He arrived at their Edgecombe Avenue home 20 minutes later. Mamie met him at the door, the letter in her hand, tears streaming down her face. Bumpy read it once, twice, then a third time. His face didn't change, didn't show anger, didn't show fear, just went completely still, the way it always did when he was at his most dangerous. "Where's Sonny?" "Columbia. He had classes today. He should be home by 6. Bumpy looked at his watch. 3:47 p.m. "Call him. Tell him to come straight home. Don't go anywhere else. Don't talk to anyone he doesn't know. Straight home." "Bumpy, what are we going to do?" He looked at the letter again. Friday, midnight. That was 2 days away. "I'm going to make sure this never happens," he said quietly. "And I'm going to make sure whoever sent this letter understands what it means to threaten my family." He picked up the phone and called Julius Gordon. "Julius, I need you at my house, now, and bring Willie Fish and Raymond quick. We've got a situation." 20 minutes later, Bumpy's closest men were sitting in his living room. He handed them the letter. Julius read it first, then "I know," Bumpy said. "Which means we need to find out who sent this and deal with them before Friday. We've got 48 hours. "How do we find them?" Willie asked. "No return address, no signature, nothing." "We start with the tree," Bumpy said. "The Hamilton Oak isn't just some random location. Someone who knows that tree, knows that history, knows what happened in 39. This is personal. This is the Klan. And the Klan isn't as invisible as they think they are." Raymond spoke up. "There's a chapter in Yonkers. They've been active lately, recruiting, making noise. Could be them." "Find out. I want names, addresses, meeting locations, everything, by tomorrow morning." "And Sonny?" Julius asked. Bumpy was quiet for a moment. "Sonny stays home. No school, no going out. Mamie watches him during the day. You three rotate shifts watching the house at night, starting tonight." "You're not sending him away?" "No. If I send him away, I'm letting them win. I'm showing them they can control my life with a letter. That's not happening. We protect him here, and we find whoever sent this." The front door opened. Raymond walked in, home from Columbia, backpack over his shoulder. He was 18 but looked younger, tall and thin like his father, but with his mother's gentle features. Smart kid, honor student, wanted to be a lawyer, study civil rights law. He had no business in the world his father inhabited, and Bumpy had worked hard to keep it that way. "Hey, Pop, Mom said you needed me home early. Everything okay?" Bumpy stood, walked over to his son. For a moment he just looked at him, this boy who was becoming a man, This son who represented everything good that Bumpy had tried to build, despite the darkness of his profession. "Come here, Sonny." They sat down in the kitchen, just the two of them. Bumpy showed him the letter. Sonny's eyes widened as he read. "Pop, this is a threat, a serious one, which means for the next few days you're staying home. No school, no library, no going out with friends. You stay where I can protect you." "But my classes—" "Can wait. Your life is more important than classes." Sonny looked at the letter again, at the crude drawing of the noose. "Who would do this?" "People who are afraid of what you represent," Bumpy said quietly. "You're 18. You're going to Columbia. You're going to be a lawyer. You're everything they don't want you to be. Smart, educated, ambitious." Yonkers chapter. They've been planning something. Had a meeting Tuesday night at a warehouse on McLean Avenue. We've got a contact who overheard them talking about sending a message to Harlem Nig. He paused, uncomfortable with the word. To Harlem, about keeping people in their place. Names? 7 of them at the meeting. Leader is a guy named Robert Thorne, 42 years old. Works at an auto shop. Been with the Klan for 20 years. The others are younger, mostly recruits. I've got all their names and addresses. Bumpy studied the list. 7 men, all Yonkers residents, all with histories of violence, petty crimes, threats. Friday midnight, they're planning to be at the Hamilton Oak. That's what the letter says. So, we're going to be there first, and we're going to have a conversation with these gentlemen about what happens when you threaten my son. Julius frowned. You want to wait until they show up? What if they come early? What if they try something before midnight? They won't. The letter says Friday midnight, the Hamilton Oak. These people are theatrical. They want the symbolism, the same tree, the same time of night, the same ritual. They're going to show up exactly when they said they would because that's part of their sick performance. And if you're wrong, I'm not. But just in case, Sonny doesn't leave this house until Saturday morning. Mamie stays with him. You 3 stay with them. I'm taking 12 men to the Oak Thursday night. We're going to set up and wait. Thursday night? They're coming Friday. I know, but I'm not taking any chances. We're going to be in position 24 hours early, and when they show up Friday midnight, thinking they're going to find my son, they're going to find something very different. Thursday, 10 p.m. Bumpy and 12 armed men arrived at Van Cortlandt Park and made their way through the woods to the Hamilton Oak. The tree was massive, old growth, maybe 200 years old, thick trunk, heavy branches that spread out like arms, and one branch in particular, thick and horizontal, about 12 feet off the ground. The lynching branch. Bumpy stood under it, looking up. In the moonlight, he could see the scars on the bark where ropes had been thrown over, where weight had pulled and cut into the wood. This was where Thomas Hamilton died in 1939, hanged by the Klan, while a crowd watched. No one was ever arrested. No one was ever charged. And now they wanted to bring his son here. Set up positions, Bumpy said quietly. I want men in the trees, behind cover, watching all approaches. No one shows themselves, no lights, no sounds. We're ghosts until I say otherwise. The men dispersed. Sonny stayed home, studying for exams he'd have to make up later. Mamie kept herself busy, cooking, cleaning, anything to keep her mind off what was happening. Julius, Willie, and Raymond rotated shifts at the house, watching windows, checking doors, making sure no one approached. And in Van Cortlandt Park, Bumpy and his men stayed hidden, waiting. The sun set, darkness fell. 11:30 p.m., 11:45 p.m. Then, at 11:52 p.m., they came. 7 men, walking through the woods. No hoods this time. They probably thought they didn't need them, thought they were safe this far from Harlem. Robert Thorne led the way, carrying a coiled rope. The others followed, 2 of them carrying wooden torches for light. They were talking, laughing, making jokes about what they were going to do. String him up good. Teach that uppity family a lesson. Bumpy Johnson thinks he's untouchable. They reached the tree. Thorn looked up at the branch, the lynching branch, and smiled. This is it. Same tree, same justice. When we're done here, every colored in New York is gonna know. You step out of line, you hang. He started uncoiling the rope. That's when Bumpy stepped out of the shadows. Evening, gentlemen. The 7 men froze. Bumpy stood there, shotgun in his hands, calm as if he were meeting friends for dinner. Then, from the trees, from behind cover, 12 more men appeared, all armed, all surrounding the Klansmen. "You boys looking for someone?" Bumpy asked. Robert Thorne's face went pale. "Bumpy Johnson. That's right. You sent a letter to my house, said you were coming here Friday midnight to lynch my son. Well, it's Friday midnight, and I'm here, but my son isn't. Disappointing for you, I imagine." One of the younger Klansmen reached for something under his jacket. "I wouldn't," Bumpy said quietly. "Look around. Count. 7 of you, 13 of us. You pull that gun, you don't get a chance to use it." The man's hand stopped moving. "Smart. Now drop your weapons, all of you. Guns, knives, whatever you've got. On the ground, now." They hesitated. Bumpy raised the shotgun. "I'm not asking twice." The weapons hit the ground. Pistols, knives, a brass knuckle set. "Good. Now the rope. Drop it, Thorn." Thorn dropped the coiled rope at his feet. "You know what that is?" Bumpy asked, gesturing to the rope. "That's a tool used by cowards who were too weak to face their enemies head-on. Men who hide behind hoods and burn crosses in the night because they're terrified of a changing world. Is that what you are, Thorn? A coward? We're not afraid of you. No? Then why did you threaten an 18-year-old?
My son is 18 years old. He's a student at Columbia University. He's never hurt anyone in his life. He wants to be a lawyer, fight for civil rights, make the world better. And you wanted to hang him from this tree because of the color of his skin, because he has the audacity to be educated, to be ambitious, to be more than what you think he should be. He's a... Thorn started. Bumpy hit him across the face with the shotgun stock. Thorn went down, blood pouring from his broken nose. That word, don't use it again, ever. The other 6 Klansmen stood frozen, terrified. Bumpy turned to his men. "Tie them up, hands behind their backs." Within minutes, all 7 Klansmen were bound, forced to their knees in a line under the Hamilton oak. Bumpy picked up the rope Thorn had dropped, the lynching rope. He walked behind the 7 men, uncoiling it as he went. "You came here to hang my son, to terrorize my family, to send a message. Well, I'm going to send a message too." He threw the rope over the thick branch, the same branch they'd planned to use. The 7 men started to panic. "Please, we didn't mean. It was just supposed to scare." Bumpy pulled the rope tight, making a noose, a perfect noose, like he'd done it before. Then he lowered it and placed it around Robert Thorne's neck. Not tight, just resting there, but there. Thorne started crying. "Please, please don't do this." "Don't do what? Give you what you came here to give my son? Seems fair to me." Bumpy made 6 more nooses, placed one around each man's neck. 7 men, 7 nooses, all loose, all just resting against skin, but all connected to that branch. "Here's what's going to happen," Bumpy said, walking in front of them. "You're going to stay here, for a while, with those ropes around your necks, and you're going to think about what you planned to do to my son. You're going to think about Thomas Hamilton, the man who died on this tree in 1939. You're going to think about every person you've terrorized, every family you've threatened, every cross you've burned." "How long?" one of them whispered. Bumpy looked at his watch. "It's 12:15 now. Sunrise is at 5:43, so 5.5 hours, give or take." "We'll die out here." "No, you won't. The ropes..."
"Where are you going?" Thorn cried out. Home, to have breakfast with my son, the son you tried to kill. I'll be back at sunrise to cut you down. Maybe, if I remember. 5.5 hours. The 7 Klansmen knelt under that tree, nooses around their necks, convinced they were going to die. Every sound was a threat. Every wind gust made them think the rope was tightening. Every muscle cramp made them afraid they'd fall forward and hang themselves. Bumpy's men watched from the darkness, silent as death. And the Klansmen broke. Some cried, some prayed, some begged forgiveness from God, from their families, from the people they'd terrorized. Robert Thorne wet himself around 3 a.m., too terrified to move. By 4 a.m., 2 of the younger ones had passed out from fear, held up only by the men kneeling on either side of them. At 5:43 a.m., as the sun broke over the horizon, Bumpy returned. He walked up to the 7 men, studied them in the growing light. Broken, traumatized, defeated. He cut the ropes. All 7 collapsed to the ground, sobbing. "Get up," Bumpy said. They struggled to their feet, legs cramping from kneeling for 5 hours. "You came here to lynch my son, to hang him from this tree like an animal, to terrorize my family. Now you know what terror feels like. Now you know what it's like to spend hours thinking you're about to die. That's what you wanted to do to an 18-year-old boy. How does it feel?" No one answered. They just stood there, crying, broken. "I want you to leave New York," Bumpy said. "All of you, today, by sunset. Pack your things and go. I don't care where, just gone. Because if I see any of your faces again, if I hear you've threatened anyone in Harlem again, if I even hear your names mentioned in connection with the Klan, I won't be this generous. I won't just scare you. I'll do what you planned to do to my son. Understand?" 7 heads nodded. "Good. Now get out of my sight." They ran, stumbling through the woods, falling, getting up, running again. Bumpy watched them go. Then he turned to Julius. "Make sure they actually leave. Watch their houses today. If they're not packed and gone by tonight, let me know." "You got it." Bumpy looked up at the Hamilton oak one more time, at the branch, at the scars in the bark. "We're cutting this tree down," he said quietly. "What?" None of them ever returned to New York. None of them ever mentioned the night at the Hamilton oak. And none of them ever threatened Bumpy Johnson's family again. The following week, with permits from the city and private funding from Bumpy, the Hamilton oak was cut down. It took 2 days, professional tree removal crew supervised by Bumpy himself. When the tree was gone, Bumpy had the stump ground down to nothing. Then he had the area landscaped, planted with new trees, young trees, trees that would grow clean and tall without the stain of history. And in the center, he placed a small plaque. "In memory of Thomas Hamilton and all victims of racial terror, may we never forget, may we never allow it again." 1954. Sonny went back to Columbia the following Monday. He graduated with honors in 1956, went to law school, became a civil rights attorney. He never forgot the letter, never forgot the threat, never forgot the night his father went to the Hamilton oak. And years later, when he had his own son, he told him the story. "Your grandfather wasn't a perfect man," Sonny said. "He did things I didn't always agree with. He lived in a world of violence and crime. But when someone threatened his family, when someone tried to terrorize the people he loved, he didn't run, he didn't hide. He went to that